Mr. Nichols, you have another witness?
I did. I'd like to call Mr. Richard Timmons at this time. Mr. Timmons, would you like to speak, please?
With the court report.
Would you please state your educational background?
I earned degrees in both chemical engineering and chemistry from the University of Delaware.
Where did you spend your business career?
I worked for Diamond Shamrock Chemical Corporation. They were subsequently purchased by Occidental Chemical. I spent my career in the process chemical industry. I worked in the Delaware area at the Delaware City facility. I worked in Houston, Texas, and I worked in Mobile, Alabama. I am a native of Delaware, but my career has been spent in various engineering assignments. I was a process engineer, project engineer. I've been production superintendent, production manager, maintenance manager, also technical manager. Most of my career was spent as a technical manager, responsible for all engineering at the facility.
Job responsibilities involved in use management of service of energy.
Yes, it did. The facilities I worked in, we produced elemental chlorine, sodium hydroxide, hydrogen, and potassium hydroxide. They were all large users of electricity. Our plant here in Delaware was a very small facility in our corporation, yet we use 60 megawatts of power here. We purchased power from Delmarva through a tariff up until 2002, and then we began purchasing it off the PJM grid. I managed the energy function at that time, putting together programs and whatnot to manage how much power we used, because coming off the grid, it was very expensive. I do have to note, though, I lost my job primarily due to the high cost of power in the state of Delaware and in this region. We became uncompetitive. Our customer base left, and our facility was shut down because of economic reasons in November of 2005. So, yes, I am intimately aware of power. I've been involved with the PJM exercise with our corporate people. We did a number of things to try to reduce power. I put in projects to reduce the power usage in our area and whatnot. So, yes, I've been involved in power most all my career. It was our largest single cost at our facility.
And again, how long were you involved in procurement of energy?
Formally, most of all of my career I was involved in the use and reduction of power. As far as the procurement and direct involvement with PJM, it began after November of 2002, from then until the plant shut down in 2005. Our power bills, just to give you an idea, at our facility, we were running about $1 million a month prior to November of 2002. When our tariff was canceled, we went to the grid. Our power costs went to about $2 million a month to make the same volume. So we ended up shutting down half the plant in 2003, tried to work around it. We couldn't achieve that, and the facility was shut down in 2005. So
excuse me, I have to object and move to strike that last question and the answer. It has nothing to do with Mr. Nichols. I don't know what the evidence has to do. The evidence of Mr. Timmons' company and his power costs have to do with Mr. Nichols' claim or with the permit that was issued.
I'm trying to establish Mr. Timmons' expertise as a witness. His understanding of the industrial use of electricity, his negotiation of contracts with Delmarva Power, his prior job experience gives him unique capabilities with respect to his expert testimony. Mr. Timmons is just telling you about how that experience is relevant. If you want to strike his testimony, that's fine, but I don't see how that diminishes his expertise. Mr. Timmons, do you have any financial interest in the success or failure of Bloom Energy's fuel cell technology?
no, I do not.
Are you being paid or compensated for your activities in this effort?
No, I'm not.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in this proceeding?
I've obviously, from my work background, I've been interested in power issues for a number of years. I am concerned about the economic basis of the Delaware economy, as I'm a native of the state. So power is a big deal. I followed the legislative actions gone through to approve the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, the mandated use of renewables and whatnot. And all these things concern me. You know, I just went along and did not get involved in anything. However, when the Bloom case came up, one of the things that really concerned me as a professional is the fact that the state and DENREC were able to declare natural gas as a renewable, which you can declare that all you want, but that's not in fact the way it is. The second thing is, as far as my involvement, I did attend the House of Representatives hearing on the Environmental Committee hearing on the Bloom project, and I presented testimony there verbally and left written copies. I also, at one of the workshops for the Public Service Commission, I presented testimony there at the Dover meeting they had, and again in opposition to the Bloom thing. So that went along, and then when I read in the news media that DENREC had approved the coastal zone application for this, I got looking a little more into the situation. Mr. Lindsay Levine, who I believe you have the information from, presented a paper on it. I looked at his information. It became clear to me that there were several technical issues that were, in my opinion, were in error in what DENREC claimed as the offsets for the reduction of power. And then there was an error that the factor they used that EPA provides for CO2 generation. So with these, talking associates at Caesar Rodney and John Nichols, I volunteered to get involved.
Are you a member of any political organization that's involved with this issue?
No.
Any other issues?
No, I'm not. I did a brief study of fuel cells. However, the Bloom fuel cells, we did not have all the information of what the cells involved. But for the basics, I did review that. Mr. Levine's letter and his calculations, I went through that also, and just a general literature search of what is available in this.
All right, so are you acquainted with Bloom's application, the hearing officer's report, the secretary's order, the exhibit submitted by DENREC, I believe?
Yes, I've looked at it.
Lindsay Lee's analysis and other generally available technical literature regarding.
I've looked over that information, yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to testify about various aspects of this proceeding based upon your review. If you don't feel you have enough information in order to make a formal, reliable opinion, please say so. Bloom has proposed installing this system in the coastal zone. Are you aware of the prohibitions and general requirements for new installations in the coastal zone?
Yes, I am. In fact, I was just started my work career when the Coastal Zone Act was passed under Governor Russell Peterson, so I am familiar with that, and through my work history, our plant was in the coastal zone.
Bloom has made the argument in their application that the Bloom boxes, now called Energy Servers, will reduce emissions, thereby reduce greenhouse gas emissions, justifying their installation, which would provide a environmental offset, and justify operating within the coastal zone. Do you have any issues associated with this justification? What are they?
I have two with this. First of all, as Mr. Levine also pointed out, EPA has established a factor of how much carbon dioxide is emitted per million BTUs of natural gas for any process, whether it's combustion, fuel cells, or whatnot. The number was 117 pounds of carbon dioxide per million BTUs. When you back calculate what Bloom did in the application that DENREC accepted, the number comes out to 102. So basically what this is the CO2 emissions, as stated in the permit, are under. The second thing that I have a problem with is the comparison that Bloom used in the permit application was to the dirtiest fuel sources in PJM, and that was coal and basically oil. Obviously, they have a lot more CO2 emissions and a lot more just other emissions, VOCs, nitrogen oxides, whatnot. If you pick the dirtiest source, you can make yourself look pretty good. But my concern is, first of all, I believe that they should have picked the next increment of energy that would be added to the grid on a logical basis. If I were an investor putting in a plant, 47 megawatt plant, in all likelihood, if I were doing it on economics, it would be a combined cycle natural gas. To use that basis, the emissions for Bloom are more. The emissions are more than what a combined cycle natural gas plant did. The other hand,
fuel cell technology, in your opinion, should the Bloom fuel cell technology be compared to the next increment of new power generation versus coal and diesel generation?
Yes, in my opinion. In fact,
and why?
I think if I were just an ordinary investor, if you all were investing in 40, 50 megawatt power plant, and you had to pay for it yourself, and you had to enter the electricity in the grid on economic dispatch, that it's the conventional installations in the United States would be combined cycle natural gas. From the information in the application, the Bloom efficiency, is slightly under 52% is the thermal efficiency. That's the amount of BTUs you put in to generate the unit of electricity. And if you do this correction using the EPA factor for carbon dioxide emissions, it lowers it to about 45.2%. So that's a pretty significant reduction. A combined cycle natural gas turbine installation putting in, according again to EIA and some other information, is about 53%. So it's slightly higher than the combined cycle than the balloon boxes using the corrective factors.